course the judge should be criticized now because she's participating in the election. Well, Mark, she had no choice. Of course she has a choice. I'm the judge. Why are you here today? Okay, I'll see you after the election. Wow, I just withdrew from the campaign, didn't I, Mr. Producer? That's how you do it. So the Trump lawyers are pushing back with this judge who's spending this time probably writing a 40-page opinion on why there should be some kind of protective order or a quasi-protective order that would in fact gag Trump. Now, Trump's lawyers need to get smart. They should take that immediately up on what we call an interlocutory appeal to that D.C. circuit that I told you is now filled with a bunch of Democrats. Seek an emergency decision as quickly as possible, and then seek an appeal, an emergency appeal from that decision all the way to the Supreme Court. That doesn't mean Trump will get that. It doesn't mean the Supreme Court will agree. It doesn't mean the Supreme Court will agree on the merits. It's the only way, though. There's no other way out of this. Zero. So that is Mark's advice. And his advice has been heard because they've told me in Trump world that it's been heard. Good. Now use it and do it. NBC Nightly News the other night on Trump lawyers pushing back on this outrageous Jack Smith effort. Go.
Tonight, lawyers for former President Trump firing back after a request by the special counsel for a protective order concerning evidence in that case involving the 2020 election. Kelly O'Donnell has late details.
Tonight, a new push in the legal tug of war between former President Trump and the special counsel.
It's free speech. This means that we cannot ever criticize.
In a late filing, Trump lawyers countered Jack Smith's request for a protective order, arguing it violates his First Amendment rights. Worse, it does so against its administration's primary political opponent during an election season. The special counsel asked the court to, in effect, put up guardrails.
No. That's not what happened. God, I hate the press. They pulled a trick. They filed their protective order Friday night based on something Trump had posted about his enemies, which has absolutely nothing to do with his access to documents. So they take that and try and connect it to documents, and they go straight to the court late Friday night. While they were in discussions with defense lawyers, Trump's lawyers, through the course of this past week, because Smith went to them and said, look, we're going to go to the judge and say, you and your client should not have access to sensitive information because we don't trust you. You may reveal it. Reveal it to whom? To us, the American people. Do you know in the Constitution you have a right to a public trial? Why? So we, the people, can see what the hell's going on in the courtroom. They had to deal with these secret trials under the king. And they said no secret trials, just like they said no general warrants. We're going to have a real due process constitutional system here. And so there's constant pressure. Take away his attorney-client privilege rights. Why? To violate his Fifth Amendment due process rights. Okay. Take away his executive privilege rights as an ex-president. Why? So they can get the Pence testimony. There's Pence taking notes. A president has to be able to talk to his vice president. A president, ex-president, or a citizen has to be able to talk to their lawyer. They took both away from him. Both. One Obama judge and another Obama judge, including this one who's now looking at a gag order. That's why the government, Smith, Garland, the Biden regime filed it with this judge, because they figure they're going to get better than even chance of what they want. You're not going to hear that on the news. That they were in discussions. Trump lawyers said, you can't tell our client and us that we can't have access, that the information you're going to use in court to try and put our client in prison, that we don't get access to it. And so they just cut them off and went to the judge. So what happens next? Trump's lawyers say to the judge, it's late Friday night. We'd like a few days to review this. Can we have a hearing on this Thursday? You know what she says? No, you have till 5 p.m. on Monday. They have all the resources in the world paid for by you, Mr. and Mrs. America, your taxes. Trump's lawyers, there aren't that many, believe it or not, that the huddle, They have to get all their information together. They have to present a response by 5 p.m. Eastern time, so they're working all weekend long, including on Sunday, to get their reply. The prosecution's not working on Sunday. They were working on this all week while they were talking to the Trump lawyers, and the Trump lawyers had no idea. That's what's going on, not this crap that you're hearing on the NBC. Go.
To protect the government's evidence, a consequence of Mr. Trump's prolific social posts. Among them, if you go after me, I'm coming after you.
So what?
The special counsel writes, it could have a harmful chilling effect on witnesses or adversely affect the fair administration of justice in this case.
What does that have to do with withholding documents from President Trump so he can defend himself? What she just read is a regurgitation of an incoherent government argument. They filed 4 pages. That's all they did. They monitored his social media. They were looking for one thing they thought they could glom onto. And then they take that. That has nothing to do with making documents available to President Trump and his team to defend themselves. So it's another attack on the First Amendment, and it's another attack on Trump's ability to defend himself. They've already taken attorney-client privilege away from him, the documents case. They already took executive privilege away from him in the so-called January 6th case, which has almost nothing to do with January 6th. They've thrown the 1871 Klan Act against him, the 2002 Enron statutes against him, a statute that deals with financial fraud having nothing to do at him. That's all they've got. But they have the jury and they have the judge, and they figure they've got enough. Go.
Mr. Trump firing off his own response. No, I shouldn't have a protective order placed on me because it would impinge upon my right to free speech. Trump attorney John Lauro outlined defense strategy.
Mr. Trump had every right to petition government and enforce his First Amendment rights.
And made headlines when he described Mr. Trump's pressure on Pence to halt the electoral count.
A technical violation of the Constitution is not a violation of criminal law.
Let me just say this. Why did his lawyer even say that? A technical violation of the Constitution. There was no violation of the Constitution. This is what concerns me. We have the Constitution, among other founding documents, right in this book. I dare anyone to show me in the United States Constitution where it says what the Vice President can or cannot do as President of the Senate when he's overseeing the Electoral College vote. I would like to know, where does it say the Vice President has to count the votes that are given to him, or he cannot count the votes that are given to him, or that he has a choice on whether to count the votes or doesn't? It is silent. It doesn't tell us. So everybody's right and everybody's wrong. And so what you have to do is use your noggin. And what you have to do is look at history. And I spent a lot of time on this on my Fox show Sunday, so I'm not going to do it again. Slates of electors from different states have been sent in 1876 and 1960. Nobody went to prison. Nobody was indicted. That's been done. I mean, they even set up a commission in 1876 because Congress couldn't decide. In 3 states, the vote was too close to make a decision. They wound up giving it to the guy who had the least number of votes, electoral or popular votes, which almost caused another civil war. And we can go through this till I'm blue in the face. None of it's criminal. None of it should be reviewed by a grand jury or a rogue prosecutor who's not even a presidential appointee. The party opposite should not be able to investigate the party that's challenging it for crimes and so forth and so on, let alone crimes that have nothing to do with it, like the 1871 Ku Klux Klan Act. And I could go on and on. So for him to say it could be a technical violation of the Constitution, honestly, is asinine. Go ahead.
That's just plain wrong.
The Trump legal team argues a court order should focus on only the most sensitive government documents and not restrict Mr. Trump from talking about all of the evidence. The judge could rule at any time.
Yes, she could. We all know once they put those black robes on, they're superhuman. You cannot criticize them. Look, as I just posted on social media this morning, if you're a judge and you allow yourself, in fact, in some cases, your self-interest or your political interest is to ensure that you're involved in this campaign by interfering with the election, with your orders and so forth and so on, by not changing the trial date till after the election, then you're fair game. You can't be part of the political process, in fact, a significant part and a historical part of the process, and then say, oh, you can't criticize me. No, the rules are off the table now. Normally you don't criticize a judge, but of course the judge should be criticized now because she's participating in the election. Well, Mark, she had no choice. Of course she has a choice. I'm the judge. Why are you here today? Okay, I'll see you after the election. Wow, I just withdrew from the campaign, didn't I, Mr. Producer? That's how you do it.
For more, sign up for Levin TV.